Yo, what's up, homies? We are making a bass like SISTO. Lots of squareness going on. Let's check it out, see what we got so far. It also has a sub that goes with it that's doing a pitch bend, like here. I'll show that at the end. First, we'll get into the main bass here. The main bass is going really fast, and then the sub is pitching up with it. We have two layers, a stereo and a mono. This is the mono. This is the stereo. Keep in mind the stereo one has a lot of high frequencies taken out of it, and they blend together like this. They're turned down a little bit, -3 and -4. Then we have an EQ weight cutting at 100, boosting a little. Fletcher Munson curve, just removing some ear piercing frequencies because it is a little piercer. And then JST clip, bumping it a little and clipping it 2 times over sampling's on. So this original patch is actually from the AWEMINUS pack from AVANT samples. You guys should definitely get that. I use one of their presets, but then I post-process it my own. I add an easy clean rack, an amp, EQ8, loop compressor, shifter, reverb, another EQ, and a multiband dynamics to make it loud. We'll go over these post-processing effects, but first I want to show you the patch here. So the speed is being controlled by LFO2 right here. It's mapped to the level of both oscillators, and we're going in 1/8 triplet speed to get that speed. We have an LFO3 right here that's on the sub. So you can't really tell what's going on because we're cutting the sub. LFO2, this is on the phase here on oscillator B, as well as the cutoff for the filter, making slight movement. It's on envelope, so it's just making a slight movement at the beginning. This is the main LFO here. We're using the basic mini. So you can go to analog, basic, mini. Same here on oscillator B. Randoms are turned down. If you look at this phase, is at 219. This phase we were controlling with the LFO. At 84, going up 36. They're both on 1 waves of unison, and then the wavetable position is on 3. You can see there's different types of waves here when we move it. Both will be set on wavetable position 3. Filter is on all passes and miscellaneous. Cutoff is at 75. We're going down -7 with that LFO1. Resonance is turned up 45% and is 38% to the left. B is also turned on for the filter, so we're controlling both of them. Remember, LFO2 is on both of the levels, turning the LFO all the way up. Full effect, levels turned all the way down. And then we have the rate here, which we can change if we wanted to. So later on in different phrases, you can slow down the rate and have slower basses as well as your fast one. In the effects, we have a delay. This is causing a lot of awesomeness. This is basically linked with feedback high. We have the delay really short, mix is really high up. This is causing a metallic sound, RIDDIM-y sound. Tube distortion on, 72%. EQ8. We have this little notch turned on and then the low shelf turned on. Frequency on the notch is at 2542. Q is at 30%. Gain is turned up 18 to really boost that notch up. And it's a wide notch, as you see here. And then you see the low shelf is not boosting frequencies, rather attenuating them and turning them down. And then we have the frequency knob at 146. Q is at 60%. Gain is at -9.3 to turn it down. Then the reverb is on, very small size, very small decay, and very small mix at 20%. Decay is at 1/8 seconds. Verb size is at 6%. Low cuts at 54%. The compressor is on, not multiband though. Gain is turned up to 13 decibels. Ratio is turned up to 4. And then the hyper dimension is making it a little bit wide. Hyper's off, but the dimension is on, 17%. The size at 4%. Very minimal width there. And those are the effects. If we turn off the post-processing, you can hear what they sound like with all the effects. We're going to turn off the effects. It sounds like this. This is the original sound, and then we're going to add the delay, metallic-y, add a distortion, get it loud, EQ, clean up the frequencies, and really pump and boost these high frequencies. That's doing a lot. The reverb, small reverb, compressor making it loud, hyperdimension making it wide. That already sounds loud, but when you're trying to make a full song, it's not loud enough. So you have to layer it. This is just going to be our stereo signal. We're going to make it loud and then make sure that this is just staying in the stereo field so we can measure it as well. You can see how wide this one is. So that one's controlling, the whole left and right space. And then the mono layer here, you can see, is controlling the middle. And then if we combine both of those, then we have our full stereo image and a clean mix. So on this stereo, let's go ahead and clean it up. Easy Clean is going to make it loud. This is the Ray Volpe Special, Reduce Ambience, OTT, Camera Crusher. Amp is on this. Amp is at 73% on dual, which makes it stereo, and then blues. EQ8, removing a lot of frequencies, cutting lows, removing a lot of the mud. Glue compressor, making it a little loud. And compressing it. Shifter, we use the frequency mode and turn the fine down to make it a little darker by turning the fine knob pitch down. Rather than. Then we add the reverb. Convolution reverb, 635 milliseconds of decay, very short with 23% dry and wet. EQ8, removing a lot of frequencies, highs and mud. Add a drip TT to just turn it up a little bit on what the signal we have here. Then you can see and measure the width. So that stereo will now fit with the mono. The mono is controlling the highs. You see, we don't cut the highs here in the mono. Everything is the exact same, except we have this bass mono utility at the end, making it mono. So the amp is still in dual. Patch is the same, but we're just making this mono so that it can fit in the middle. Because we kind of killed the mono signal when we made the stereo earlier, so we have to compensate. Now when that blends in with the sub, which is also in the middle, then it sounds full. Okay, so group, Fletcher-Munson curve. This is turning down the ear-piercing frequencies by turning down and up the scale. I recommend you use the Fletcher-Munson curve. And then JST clip is just clipping it at 0 to make sure it doesn't get too loud because it's very loud. And then we just control our frequencies in the group here. Those two are fun, easy, and then the sub. This is the Dripment SISTO sub. Watch the Dripment SISTO video to get the sub, the latest one. It's amazing. You see here we're using tube warmth on Camel Crusher, adding some erosion, get some white noise. But the main thing here is the pitch bend. So if you look in our serum, we have it up to 11. And then we hit configure, click on this knob, and then it will show up here. Hit configure again to exit. And you can right click, show automation on this pitch bend arrow. Then we can pitch bend it. So basically, we let this note play regular, and then we start pitching up real fast, and then pitching down real slow. I was kind of remaking what he did in Fuss, so I just wanted to kind of do the same thing. And this is really unique. So keep in mind, sub is not following the fast rhythm of the bass. It's doing its own rhythm and creating a pitched bass line, which is really unique. Yes. That's how we do it. That's how we get loud, clean. If you guys need help with any mixing, mastering, sound design tips, I got you. Hit me up in the Discord. If you need private one-on-one lessons, I do that as well. If you want these patches and the sub, that will be in the Patreon, so you can get that as well. Everything will be in the description. You guys have a good day. Stay fresh. Later. Peace.
Outer space.